Welcome to Power Wheel, your weekly power sector program from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Here are the headlines. Experts canvass for speedy growth of power sector infrastructure in northern Nigeria. Federal government launches electrical installation safety code to guide discos. TCN seeks more evacuation of bulk power at upgraded Alagbor transmission substation in Lagos. And Engineer Jane Okemini, the project manager for AFD-funded power transmission projects at TCN, says the implementation of the Abuja Power Wheeling Scheme is being implemented seamlessly. Get the details on the interview segment. Stay with us for these and other reports in this edition of Power Wheel. I am Chiwenwa Anyanwu. Experts in the business, academic, and power sectors have converged at a dialogue in Kaduna to canvass for the speedy development of power sector in Nigeria. They identified vast potentials of using renewable energy and water resources to increase the current electricity supply capacity in the country.
The Dialogue on Power, an initiative of the Committee on Energy and Power Policy of the Arewa Research and Development Project, ARDP, held at the Ahmadu Bello Foundation building in Kaduna recently. The dialogue with the theme Approaches to Sustainable Power Supply in Nigeria has the Managing Director and CEO of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Mr. Yuji Mohammed, as a special speaker. In his opening remarks, the convener Arewa Research and Development Project, ARDP, Dr. Usman Bugaji, spoke on the objectives of ARDP, which he said strives to accelerate development in the north. Dr. Bugaji called on experts from the northern region to collaborate in bringing about the desired results that will re-engineer development and growth through the revival of the power sector.
For those of you who are senior engineers who have held some of these positions and are aware of some of these difficulties, to help us with solutions or ways we can go around some of the problems we are facing. The final objective of all this is that we as the ARDP will come up with new perspectives, new solutions to some of the intractable problems that we have been facing in the last few years. And as we are speaking, what we are going to discuss here is being live streamed because we have a number of people who cannot come, especially young people in different parts of the country, some even outside, who follow our platform and who will be able to share and contribute, especially some of our engineers who are in the diaspora, who may have experiences from the countries they are living, who might be able to. And it is our intention, after all this, we will sift through what has been discussed, and we are going to issue it in the form of a newsletter so that we can document what we have done and we can build on it for subsequent dialogues. In
a presentation, the Managing Director and CEO of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Mr. Yuji Mohammed, who was the special speaker, harped on the various approaches that could help to solve the power crisis in Nigeria.
There's a direct relationship between poverty and insecurity. Even in Nigeria today, if you look at the places that have high level of insecurity, are the places that there is no electricity. If you look at building for example, you hear a lot of kidnapping and all this while. Building is one of the places there is no electricity. We built a 150 cable line from Thailand to Building several years ago, but the substation with Building was never built, which means Building is getting supplied from Thailand from 1 to 2 substations in Tekina, almost 200 kilometers, and there is no substation to supply. So at Thailand, there is no way you can get sustainable electricity.
He said the present drive of TCN is to provide a sophisticated supervisory control and data acquisition SCADA system with the support of PGM, a United States power firm, to modernize the national grid. On critical investments and power transmission lines and substations, the TCN boss mentioned some innovations that the company is working on.
We are building it into a quad line
Now, what is a fault line? Fault line, sir, is a double circuit. I mean, this is the first time this kind of line is being built in Nigeria under this government. We are also building a 330 kV line, fault line, from Kaduna, Kumbozo to Rini Zakara, new substation that we are building in Kano. And we are taking a initiative to build a 330 kV double circuit line from Kano up to Calabar. If not Buhari, who will do this kind of thing? Nobody is going to do this kind of thing. So we have to give him credit for that. As we have problem, we have to look at the solution that he has also put in place. And all these things that I mentioned to you, they are not financed under public budget. They are financed through a donor-funded project.
One of the speakers at the dialogue and the rector of Kaduna Polytechnic, Professor Idris Muhammad Bugaji, outlined the various electricity generation sources in the north that includes large hydro sources, coal resources, abundant wind speed, and sunshine that could be harnessed to boost power supply in the region.
And we have very good deposits of coal in the north. The Okada coal deposit in Kogi is even better than that in quality than that of Binu. Gombe, Bauchi, and other states also have, and Nasarawa states have a lot of coal deposits. We need to look into that. We can also use gas turbines. We can get our natural gas from the general public.
Emphasizing on the need to harness the vast renewable energy sources in Nigeria, the Chairman Infrastructure Committee of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Engineer Ibrahim Usman, said government should create a special purpose vehicle to drive that in the north.
There should be another special purpose vehicle, specially designed for renewable energy. In the north here, we not only have solar, we also have renewable. Apart from the small hydro facilities, we have wind capacity and we have biomass. So these are things that can be done. And so what I would suggest is a special purpose vehicle similar to the Niger Delta Power Holding Company.
The Alagbo transmission station is a 330, 132, 33 kilovolt capacity belonging to the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, in Lagos State. The station has been upgraded to deliver more bulk power to electricity consumers through the distribution companies in the area. The Power Wheel crew visited the facility recently and spoke to the officials operating it.
The Alagbon station, which is about 37 years old, has a capacity to deliver 240 megawatts of bulk power capacity. The principal transmission manager at Just sub-region of the TCN Lagos region, Engineer Mustafa Aliero Hassan, said,
in terms of MBA, we have about 300 MBA transformer. We supply Ikui, BI, and Lagos Island.
The substation has felt the impact of the present management, as Engineer Hassan confirmed that under the ongoing implementation of the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program TREP, Alagbon substation recently got a newly installed 100 MVA power transformer.
We have a newly installed 100 MVA 132.3 kV transformer and also 60 MVA 132.3 kV transformer recently.
He further spoke about the impact of these additional facilities at the substation.
Really, it has improved the power supply of this area because now we have enough capacity to evacuate, to deploy, to give out to the distribution company.
Although Engineer Hassan maintained that the DISCOs and the TCN substation have a cordial relationship and have sustained their interface, he, however, revealed that capacity of the DISCO to evacuate all power from the substation was lacking.
The only thing, they cannot be able to evacuate what we can give them out. Presently, about 130, 140 sometimes. We can be able to evacuate more than that, but they are not ready to take it.
He said at present, the substation has adequate capacity and has no challenge after a major replacement of a power transformer was effected in 2019.
When 100 MBA got, this 60 MBA transformer was gutted by a fire sometimes back last year. Before it was replaced, we had some issue that some of the feeders may be out. And later, this other one had an issue. But now, all those problems has already been solved. We don't have any challenges presently.
Engineer Alero also emphasized on the present strategy of TCN to install power transformers using the in-house engineers. He described that as an impactful strategy for capacity building.
Every day they are getting more knowledge about it, the engineering aspect of the system. So every day they are improving. It is improving their capacity. Their knowledge is always improving. The present management of TCN under the leadership of UG Muhammad is really trying, because all the staff are now happy with what is going on in TCN.
Inside the control room of the Alagbon station, the area control supervisor Aja Area Control under the Lagos region of TCN, Engineer Olayiwola Adagun, gave more details about the operation of the substation.
This place is actually a Alagbon 330/132/33 kV substation. We get supplied to this station from Aja, Lekki 330 kV circuit, feeding a 300 MVA transformer, and through that we have the 132 kV outgoing lines that goes to, we have one that comes in from Ijora, 132 kV, and another one that goes to Akoka, Oworo, 132 kV. With the local load we have in the station, we have 4x60 MVA transformer and 100 MVA transformer for the local consumption of the station.
He said with the upgrade, the station now has a flexibility such that when maintenance session is ongoing, it no longer affects the supply of bulk power for onward distribution to electricity consumers.
Even if we have a completely shutdown of the station, in 5-10 minutes time, we restore fully to the station.
Let's take a break for a message. We'll be right back.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity when exposed is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right of way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right of way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the Management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
Thanks for staying with us. The federal government has launched a safety code to guide contractors and power sector operators on the electrical installation and construction. Its adherence will help to prevent accidents and curb the incessant loss of power equipment on the national grid.
Launching the Nigerian Electrical Installations and Construction Guideline Manual, NEICGM, produced by the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, in Abuja, the Minister of State Power, Mr. Godi J.D. Agba, said Violators of the code could be arrested.
It therefore behoves on all of us to obey the law, because henceforth I'm sure that they are going to, with the help of NSCDC, be able to arrest me and you when we break the law. I submit myself to that, power. Because if we have that, the cases of burnt meters or burnt transformers or blown equipment would not be a frequent thing as it is today, because standardized equipment will be imported for this function.
The Minister of State noted that across highways, people can observe falling power lines, slanted poles and transformers, which are threats to safety. He therefore urged compliance by stakeholders in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, NESI.
The essential thing for us today is that we are glad to associate with NEMSA for being able to produce a manual which standardizes practices in this industry.
The Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Power, DJ Wilson Jack, said the launch of the guideline was part of the federal government's effort to boost national productivity drive for economic development, and that it will ensure the safety of lives and property.
The guidelines, therefore, will ensure good returns on investments in the distribution sector as electrical installation projects executed in line with the guidelines would stand the test of time. To this end, join me in congratulating NEMSA on this public presentation of the manual, which will help improve adherence to safety standards and practice in the power sector, while encouraging stakeholders to work collaboratively and cooperatively to actualize the objectives of the guideline.
The Managing Director of NEMSA, Engineer Peter Eweso, said the code will address the inadequacies of the standards of electricity construction practices, especially across power distribution networks. With the 5-volume code, Eweso said NEMSA inspection engineers and technical officers now have a benchmark to enforce the agency's mandate to ensure that the 11 distribution companies discussed have safe networks.
It is hoped that dedicated use and application of the guidelines manual, particularly by the DISCOs, National Rural Education Agencies, Rural State Electricity Board, and all other stakeholders will bring back the required sanity, safety, stability, standardization, and unification of our network, which is actually very important.
The NEMSA boss, who is also the Chief Electrical Inspector of the Federation, CEIF, further decried the deterioration of power installation standards, especially for newly constructed power facilities.
In the past, we used to have basic insulation level for 11 kV to be 23 kV, and we used to have for 33 to be 72 or 96 kV. But today, what we have is just for 11, you have only 1 kV over and above the system voltage. So, and for 33 is 36. So you find out that in most cases, what then happens, we are losing transformers every day at additional level because they cannot receive shock at all. Any shock above 1 kV, that 12 kV, the transformer is gone. But what we are known with is that transformer with 28 kV, definitely, even when there are issues and challenges, shock on that transformer, it stays and resists those shocks for this environment.
Engineer Jane Okemini is the project manager for the French Development Agency AFD-funded transmission projects, a project management unit of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. In this interview session, Engineer Okemini provides updates on the implementation of the Abuja Power Wheeling Scheme by the PMU. What is the status of the power transmission projects under the unit?
The project is the Abuja Feeding Scheme. This project will add 5 number transmission substations, which includes 2 number 330-132 33 kV substation and 3 number 132 33 kV substation. We also have a 143 kilometer route length of 330 kV transmission line that will transverse from Lafia to New Apple, an 81 kilometer route length of 132 kV transmission line that will interconnect all the 5 number transmission substations within Abuja. This project, upon completion, will add approximately 1,380 MVA of transformer capacity and 638 megawatts energy to the grid network. This particular project will also help to increase the network capacity, improve network flexibility, and improve our service delivery to our customers, which are the discos.
What are the major steps in the project's implementation?
The major steps in this particular project implementation is that we have the engineering, procurement, and construction processes. Within this project's life cycle, we have completed the initiation, which is basically what we call the project identification process. Secondly, we have the planning, which involves all the studies that are being carried out, majorly the environmental and social safeguards. We are presently in the execution aspect of this project, which will involve the monitoring and supervision.
What are the challenges the unit has experienced while implementing the project?
The major challenges that we have experienced during this project and some of the mitigation factors we have implemented is basically that we have some environmental and social challenges that arises with the potential that has the potentials of delaying the project.
What motivates you to give in your best in implementing this project?
The primary motivation is the commitment and support of the MD/CEO and his management team for the success of the delivery of this project within the specified period of 24 months and on budget. Also, this project will positively impact on the social economic life of the inhabitants of Abuja and its environ, by extension to Nigerians at large.
That was Engineer Jane Okemini, the project manager for AFD-funded power transmission projects at TCN. She spoke on the ongoing Abuja Power Wheeling scheme that seeks to increase the bulk power evacuation capacity of TCN in the Federal Capital Territory by 1,300 megawatts. This is Power Wheel, your favorite program. It's time for more reports in the Power Flash segment. Please stay with us. That is it on this edition of Power Wheel. Do join us next week for another refreshing edition. This episode and the previous ones are available on our YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can also interact with us on our platforms as we strive to serve you better. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. Enjoy the rest of your day.